Rise and shine. It's time to get the day started with the morning show of record for the Homestead community. It is the Farm2Table Direct Show, Morning Edition. Good morning, everyone. Welcome in, especially to my morning crew. Glad to have you all in with us. Good morning, Joey Bartlett, first in this morning. Good to see you. I hope everyone's day is off to a great and wonderful start. A little bit chilly here this morning, about 33 degrees, and that's okay. That's all right. It's going to warm up a little bit, get a little nicer, but at least that blasted wind that was blowing all day yesterday seems to have settled down because, man, it was like in the 30s here in the morning, but the wind chill was like 19. But speaking of that, let's head on over to Dyer Family Farm to the Redneck Weather Report. Good morning, Scotty. Glad to see you in with us this morning, buddy.
Good morning, Rednecks. It is 37 degrees this morning, March the 6th, 2025. We got a 9-mile-an-hour east wind making it feel like it's 34 degrees. We're going to get to 63 today. God bless y'all. I see you.
All right. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate that very much. Always enjoy the Redneck Weather Report. Uh, yeah, good morning there, everybody. Again, I know Huckleberry will not be in with us this morning. It's Thursday. He has his Bible study that he goes to. So, Robbie, good luck. Hope that goes well, and hope you have a good day with that. Anyway, let's get right on in with it. Let's get going. It is time for today's Reality Smackdown. U.S. automakers receive a tariff exemption for 1 month for their imports from Canada and Mexico. Uh, and I did see that it's been pouring out and very windy. I think you're finally, that's what Robbie said, weather before we get going. Very windy. So I think the stuff that we had blowing through yesterday is just kept on trucking east, I think. It seems to be our weather we've had the last couple of days. But anyway, all right, back on this. With the tariff stuff, China has kind of came out, in response to the tariff and said that China's prepared to fight any kind of war the U.S. wants. So that could get dicey. We'll see how that goes. Uh, U.S. House starts a formal reprimand of Democrat Al Green for disrupting the Trump speech. He was very disruptive the other night, and they removed him from the House chambers. As was announced in the speech, the Abbey Gate person responsible, suspect, was brought in, and he faces his first court appearance following extradition to the U.S. Uh, Another thing, Tesla plans to build a new mega factory in Texas. So maybe some more jobs coming there for Texans. Good deal. And Trump plans executive order to strengthen U.S. shipbuilding to blunt the Chinese domination in that market. And he said, we're going to go back to building ships again. So just a few of the headlines that were out there this morning. I know there's many more. Tomorrow we're going to get into, it's open line Friday, but I think I'm going to, have some stuff ready for vaccines. But anyway, we'll see. We'll talk more about that later. So that is the Reality Smackdown. It is time to get into this day in history. 1810, Illinois passes first state vaccine legislation in the U.S. And of course, it was Illinois. But anyway, so just go to show you 1810, 1910, 2000, it's a couple of 100-year-old thing, Anyway, 1831, it's interesting. Edgar Allan Poe, that Edgar Allan Poe, was court-martialed and dismissed from the West Point Military Academy for gross neglect of duty and disobedience of orders. Seemed to be a troubled person from the beginning. We shall see. Anyway, 1836, the Battle of the Alamo. After 13 days of fighting, 1,500 to 3,000 Mexican soldiers overwhelmed the Texan defenders, killing 182 to 257 Texans, including William Travis, Jim Bowie, and Davy Crockett. Remember the Alamo. right here closer to home in Arkansas, 1862, the Battle of Pea Ridge, Arkansas, Elkhorn Tavern. Yeah, that's a local Civil War site, and pretty popular place. But anyway, so it goes. 1899, aspirin is patented by Felix Hoffmann at German company Bayer, which is still making it today. So good. I guess that was a good deal. 1933, Eleanor Roosevelt is the first lady to hold an official press conference at the White House. She kind of set some groundbreaking stuff, she did. But anyway, there you go. 1945, George Nissen of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, receives a patent for the first modern trampoline, and kids began to break parts immediately. Now it's grandkids love their trampolines, so hey, glad they invented that thing. 1964, boxing legend Cassius Clay joins the Nation of Islam, changes his name to Muhammad Ali, calling his former title a slave name. Just saying, that's what he said. Anyway, 1966, Barry Sadler's Ballad of the Green Beret becomes number one for 13 weeks. Still enjoy listening to that song. Anyway, all these years later. And this one is for my nephew, Cody, Shane Cody, as he always refers to me and Keith as Walter Cronkite and Dan Rather. 1981, Walter Cronkite signs off as anchorman of the CBS Evening News. Hard to believe. I was old enough to remember that. I mean, I think I was 9 or whatever. You're about to be 9. Good morning, Jack. Good to see you in, buddy. Anyway, let's see. 1987. First Lethal Weapon film starring Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, directed by Richard Donner, is released. Man, 1987. 80s had some good movies, but anyway. Fast forward wide away. It's 2017. WikiLeaks publishes the Vault 7 CIA documents detailing its hacking and surveillance techniques. Good morning. She's changed it. She's in on Tuesdays with Joy today. So I'm assuming that's Joy Phil Janae based on the writing and everything. There we go. Well, good morning. Welcome in. And so continuing on, 2018, American World War II aircraft carrier, the USS Lexington, rediscovered in Australia's Coral Sea. It was lost during 1942 Battle of the Coral Sea. 2021, last U.S. Senate passes $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief bill, the American Rescue Plan. And then they promptly changed the tax code to take it all back. But anyway, I digress in that department. That is today in history. And so with that, we are ready to move in, and y'all are right on time for the topic of the day. Food Freedom Resolution, a game changer? Perhaps. Let me slide this over here, get my paperwork out. So, what is the Food Freedom Resolution, you might say? Well, I'll tell you something quite interesting that it caught me by attention. In fact, I had a whole different plan for today's show. We were on the gardening stuff, and I was going to talk some things, other stuff with that. And this came into my box, and, well, it just changed my whole direction, said I've got to do this. So I'm going to read this off, and then we'll break it down and talk about it and where it came from. Food Freedom Resolution. Whereas courts have ruled that citizens have no right to choose the source of their food, meaning no legal standing to sue for redress when denied options, and whereas many food buyers desire to purchase alternative foods not sanctioned by food regulations, and whereas licensing and regulatory oversight is presidential against small and innovative processors and marketers, and whereas this interventive scale, prejudicial culture, inhibits market choice, and whereas personally choosing your microbiome's fuel is fundamental to human agency, and whereas much government licensed food contains chemicals, ultra-processing, and unpronounceable ingredients of questionable safety, and whereas the collusion between food regulators and the industrial food complex incentivizes existing dominant players to the detriment of possible startup competitors, and whereas America's Dominant food industries are centralized, concentrated, and interested primarily in price and profit rather than nutritive quality. And whereas these issues deprive people of completely priced options in the marketplace, and whereas personal responsibility for decision consequences, coupled with an Uberized capacity to monitor quality publicly and in real time, ensures integrity, and whereas food safety, security, and stability are enhanced by neighbor to neighbor food options, be it therefore resolved that the right of the people to purchase the food of their choice from voluntary sellers shall not be infringed. So, what do you guys think about this? I have to admit, and I know it was a lot. I had the benefit of reading it, not listening. And anyway, any guess on where that came from? There's really only one, but because I cannot take credit for this, I did not write this, but I do like it. But anyway, this is the latest from the lunatic farmer himself, Joel Salatin. Came out on his blog post late yesterday, and just totally changed the direction of where I wanted to go. And so here we are. And yes, Jack said he is driving and listening. Jack, drive safe this morning. I'll be behind the wheel very shortly myself. So, because there's crazy, crazy people out there. They don't pay any attention to us truck drivers. And I could share a story from yesterday, but I won't. We'll keep on going. So back to this. I must admit that when I first read it, I wasn't sure what to think. But I read the comments on the blog, and I must say it was a mixed review. Many thought it was a great idea. Many thought the government and even this administration wouldn't go for it. Some even had the suggestion, which I agree with, by the way, that this is a state issue. The federal government, USDA, FDA, etc., should not have any interference, and that it should be an intrastate, not interstate commerce, so as to avoid the interstate commerce clause, which many believe to be unconstitutional. Opinions vary, but depends on interpretation, like a lot of things. But I do understand what they're saying. Once you cross state lines, it gets a little tricky. You can do a lot of things inside your own state. Thank you, Janae, for the thumbs up. Yes, please hit the thumbs up. Anyway, I myself am one for small government, and believe that most things truly are states' rights. The Constitution clearly states that powers not enumerated in the Constitution are reserved for the states. However, this is a fight that's been going on since before the Civil War. In fact, it was the main reason for the secession of the southern states from the Union. And contrary to the popular narrative, slavery was not the driving issue. As to most wars, it was fought over land, resources, money, and control. The industries of the North could not compete with the South, and yes, that was due to slave labor, making it impossible to compete. The wealthy and political class of the North wanted to control the resources of the South, and their reason to end slavery in the southern states was not entirely a noble one, but the issue did suit their needs. If they could end slavery in the South, then the South would be forced to compete on equal footing with the labor in the North. Now, there were many abolitionists and leaders who did genuinely want to end slavery and saw it as the abomination that it was. So, I ain't saying it was wrong. I'm just saying it wasn't the primary driver. And I apologize. A trip down history road. It's just a very misunderstood place in U.S. history, and one that I've spent a lot of time digging into and forming my opinion about. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. The food freedom and food choice should be a fundamental right. The right to feed ourselves in the manner we see fit should be protected, but I believe it needs to start at the lowest level of government first. If enough states would get on board and get this done, then the federal government would follow. Now, of course, I think that most of the federal government needs to be rebooted. Many of its agencies need to be shuttered. Just my 2 cents there. So let me know what you think of, which it was the Food Freedom Resolutions, what he called it, but let me know what you would think of a Food Freedom Amendment to all state constitutions and the U.S. Constitution. I think that would be a great idea. Let's put it in the our state's constitutions, put it in the federal. Hey, sad that we got to do it, but it's like a lot of things. It should be common sense, but it's not. And you know, and go ahead and put that up. I agree. One word: solidarity. Yes, it takes that, and an individual's sovereignty and solidarity. And then being in solidarity with each other. But yes, an individual's sovereignty needs to be above and beyond that of the individual. Uh, I will say, and while I'm waiting for any comments that may come in on that, I'm going to go ahead and catch y'all on an update. Because speaking of fruit freedom, here's a brief update, sort of brief. Anyway, update on SB 939. It is still in the Senate at Oklahoma. This is waiting for a vote. However, it now has some help. Senator Avery Fricks, the primary author of the bill, has now been joined with a co-author in the Senate, Senator Scott Bullard. Uh, anyway, he has gotten behind it, and now the House of Representatives, Scott Fettgatter is a co-author there, and the primary author in the House of Representatives as of March 3rd. This is a good thing. I mean, it still has to go through, but the fact that it has now had another state senator and a state representative sign on to it, and it is getting a lot of attention. It's getting it's getting support, and that's the main thing. Uh, and folks, I believe this is due to the efforts of all of you in the homesteading community, getting the word out, and getting involved at the grassroots level. And I'll pick that back up in just a minute. Uh, See with this: if someone has a product to sell, it should be between the buyer and the seller. 100% agree with that, Joy Boiler. 100% we agree with that. I agree with that. Keith agrees with that. Um, that's should be a private exchange between two consenting adults, and that is, I'm selling it. Tell you what's all about it. You choose to buy it. Informed end user consent, which is what this Oklahoma legislation is all about. It's what it's helping to clarify in the state law, and we're very proud of this. But it is on it's that very vein right there. Uh, Anyway, finishing up, as I was saying, I'm very proud of Brian DeShazo with Okie Farm and Hatchery and his work on this. Uh, Keith and I are also very honored to have been asked as the Farm2Table Direct Show to aid in the writing and verbiage of the initial bill. We had a conference, telemeeting, whatever you want to call it, with Brian, and we went through a lot of things, many of which actually ended up in the verbiage, in the writing. And honestly, we asked for some things, and just very surprised to see that it got through so far. But just very proud to have been a part of that. Extremely proud of all of you who chose to get involved through sharing and getting on the phones and emails to your friends, to your senators and representatives here in Oklahoma. But the fight is not over. It still needs to go through both chambers and the governor's desk. We need to continue to get the word out to Oklahomans and continue to put the pressure on our legislators. Uh, I think that is, we still need to make that push, but it is making progress. It is going, and it's getting support, and it's looking better and better every day. So we still need to, Oklahoma still needs to push on that. My state of Arkansas, we've already got it taken care of. It's already been signed by the governor for us to expand out a little bit to be able to sell off the farm, which was a big thing, and so that was a big deal. So they did few little tweaks to ours, and achieved quite a bit with it. Joy writes, Janae writes, agree. No need. I know what you meant there. No need for big government, and that's true. The federal government or the central government original purpose was very limited, was very small. It's provide for the common defense. That's the number one job. The federal government is to defend the United States, to defend our people, the citizens in the individual states, to be there to help them defend. Promote the general welfare. That's just to make sure, generally speaking, people have the freedom to pursue business, pursue property ownership, to pursue their life as they see it, and religious, to ensure that that the original 10 amendments and a few of the others, but basically that their job to make sure that our rights are protected, and they have gotten so lost. And that goes back to my little rant on the Civil War, and that was the really the big. It was a big blow to states' rights. It was a huge blow, and the much revered Abraham Lincoln, for good reasons, he was the right man at the time, as far as some of the change leading our country through that time. But, however, that was centralized government. That was yes, Scotty, very much. That is that is a true statement. Government loves to stick their nose in things where it don't belong. Yes, 100% correct. That's why I'm kind of happy to see with some of the trimming and getting government reduced down. But you know that was the first battle. The Civil War was the first loss. I mean, it was a big loss to states' rights, and that was the beginning establishment of a strong central government. Overriding the central government, and the union. I mean, I'm glad it worked out the way it did, as far as all 50 states still being together, I guess. But it was a voluntary union, and states chose to leave it, and then a war was fought over that, and people died and people were killed. And again, it was over control, it was over money, it was over land and resources, and that's my problem with it, and with the legacy. But the winner gets to write the history books, you might say. Uh, anyway, back on track. With SB 939, it's awesome. It's moving, but it still needs pressure. Um, there is another piece of legislation I became aware of yesterday in Oklahoma. That's Oklahoma House Bill 1166. It's a bill aiming to strengthen landowner rights in the annexation procedures. Now, it has cleared the House Government Oversight Committee. And all you folks that live in Oklahoma, you need to get a hold of this one. It really is for your protection. And that is House Bill 1166. And basically, what that's saying is that if the city wants to annex land to make their city, but the town or the whatever bigger, or they want to suck land up into the city so that they can develop it for a particular thing or whatever, if this goes through, the transparency levels have got to go up. There's certain requirements that have to be met. It's not just grab it and go like they want to. There has to be a lot of information. There has to be meetings. And basically, the initial thing is they're supposed to seek approval from every landowner. Um, and if they choose not to do that, there's a different way they can go. And if they don't do what's supposed to be done, and i.e. fire a lot of things in development, then within a certain time frame, I think 10 years, then it forfeits back. The annexation is void. So again, it's just having to protect, and it keeps these towns from grabbing up land just to develop it for a particular contract or something without going through a lot of processes. More respect of the landowner's rights, and I'm a big fan of that. So again, less government. Uh, Robbie's not on here, but the other day he sent me there was a post he put in for Arkansas. There's a bill going to Arkansas right now. The homestead tax credit in Arkansas is $500, which I'm grateful for, because some of our property taxes have gotten outrageous, and that's a whole other rant I could have about property taxes and all that. But we'll leave it alone for today. But anyway, it's a bill to raise it to 600. So I hope so. Help lower my house payment down. So reduce my property tax bill every year. But enough of that. That's it. Food freedom resolution. The food freedom amendment. Feel free to let us know. Chime it in the comments or whatever here on the chat, or if you're watching this later, drop us a comment about it and what you think about it. It's an interesting concept. Out of the mind of the lunatic farmer, but I think with properly done at the right levels, I think I like it. But anyway, that was the topic of the day, so food freedom resolution, is it a game changer? Could be something to gain momentum. I don't know. We'll see. All right, we're going to move on. We got to wrap this up, and let's see where we're at. Today's tip of the day. motivate the mind, and the body will follow. Solid tip right there. We just always say mind over matter. You don't mind, it don't matter. But it is truly the mind controls the body, and you can do far more than you realize you can. So motivate the mind, and the body will follow. All right, let's get through these upcoming events. And of course, today is the 6th day of March, so we are, wow, 14 days and a wake up. Hey, bro, good morning. Glad to see you with us. I was just about to say we are 14 days away from Okie Homestead Expo, March 21st to 22nd, Mays County Fairground, Pryor, Oklahoma. And with that, before I proceed any further, the Farm2Table Direct Show is doing a ticket giveaway to the Okie Homestead Expo. We have 2 tickets that we're going to be giving away this next Tuesday, the 11th, on our show at the end of the show. Now, what you need to do is go back and watch our show that we just aired this last Tuesday, which was the local food revolution, why you should know your farmer. Hey, good morning, Jeremiah 1111. Good to see you in, buddy. It's been a while. Glad to see you're out there with us. Anyway, we are giving away 2 tickets. Like I said, what you got to do is go back to the post, the episode, like I said, the local food revolution, why you should know your farmer. We aired it this last Tuesday on, I guess that would have been the 4th. But anyway, get that video, share it on Facebook, preferably. And that way we know you shared it. We get a record of it. And then we will be doing a ticket giveaway at the end of our show this coming Tuesday. And so at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time is the show. And we will be giving away that ticket at the end of the show, those 2 tickets. And hey, if you've already bought tickets or you're going as a volunteer, go ahead and get in to win that. And then you can invite some friends or give those tickets away yourself. But either way, we are going to be giving those tickets away to some lucky winners. But anyway, it's kind of goes right in with what I was talking about, Jeremy. United, you shall prevail over every obstacle. That is true. If we stick together, we can accomplish a lot of things, and I appreciate that. So moving on, let's see. The 29th of March, Oakland, Arkansas Homesteading Conference, Cleveland County Fairgrounds, Rising, Arkansas. One-day event there. It's on its 11th year, hard to believe. New Beginnings Homestead Expo, April 12th at New Beginnings Church in Nowata, Oklahoma. It's a single-day event there. Keith and I have been invited to speak there at that one, so we will definitely be there and looking forward to that. Then it begins the weekend in April that everything is happening. The Shindig Ozark Living Expo, April 25th and 26th, Newton County Fair and Rodeo, Jasper, Arkansas. That same weekend, the Homestead Conference in Waco, Texas, April 25th, 26th. I know Joel Salatin's headlining that one as well. It's a first-year event, but it looks to be a big one if you're in that area. Homesteading and Outdoor Expo, April 26th. The Barn at Oleander in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Some stuff going on there for our folks in Florida. That is the Homesteading and Outdoor Expo, April 26th. It's going to be at the Barn at Oleander, Port St. Lucie, Florida. 10 Killer YouTube Meetup, April 25th, 26th, and 27th. Lake 10 Killer, Oklahoma, Cherokee Landing State Park Creek Shelter. You can RSVP to 10 Killer YT Meetup at gmail.com. That is 10 Killer YT Meetup at gmail.com. That's the RSVP. They want you to RSVP if you're coming for any day of the 3 days, or if you have any questions. So that's going to be a big meetup with a lot going on. Jeremiah asked if I said, do you live off grid? No, I don't. I am on the old grid. We've got a lot of friends that live off the grid. But my thing is, I'm sorry, I enjoy the luxuries of the modern world, but I do like having. Good morning, Ed Kirkpatrick. Good to see you in, buddy. Hope all's going well. Looking forward to hopefully get a chance to see you here in about 2 weeks at the expo. I know you're going to be up there as you are one of the sponsors. So very, very glad to have you on it. Don't live off grid, but beginning to try to put a lot of, how shall we say, potential off grid if something were to happen. I've got a couple of wells. I'm going to try to get that where I can use it that way. I want to have things set in place to where if something happens to the grid, I can still function. I got a lot of generators, including a big four. I got a big 4-cylinder diesel generator. But anyway, so looking for So yes, Jeremiah, don't live off grid, but trying to make preparations in that direction as we slowly get going. Anyway, so was just talking about the 10 Killer YouTube meetup. I know there's one I don't have all the information on. It's in May. That's the Mid America YouTube meetup. It's at Lake Eufaula. And that's May 15th, 16th, 17th of May. And I will get those details loaded up and get them in so that y'all can be aware of that one. June 6th and 7th, the Homestead Festival. It's in Hardison Mills near Columbia, Tennessee. That's Rory Feek's place. Huge event, June 6th and 7th. September 5th and 6th, Ozarks Homestead Expo. Another great and wonderful lineup there this year. September 5th and 6th, Marshfield, Missouri. Keith and I will be there. Looking forward to that one. And of course, our very own Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous at the Southeast Expo Center. That's September 26th and 27th in McAllister, Oklahoma. Keith and I, as the Farm2Table Direct Show, are on the committee for that one, and looking forward to another good year. Last year was the first year; it was good. We think it's going to be even better this year. So, looking forward to that. And of course, October 10th and 11th, Homesteaders of America Conference, Front Royal, Virginia. I'm not sure. I think they're getting. If they might have a few tickets left, but they're about to be out. I know that, and I'll have to get the dates. I know also around that same time, of course, will be Pinecone Fest down in Texas. So I'll try to get that information up and get it on my list for those who may be interested in going. I know a lot of people go to that. It's a big deal last year. But anyway, that is a wrap for today on the Farm2Table Direct Show Morning Edition. Go back, if you got in late, go back and kind of catch up on what we're talking about. Joel Salatin came out with the Food Freedom Resolution, and I proposed it as a Food Freedom Amendment to state and U.S. Constitution to guarantee the right to food, basically. And anyway, it's quite an interesting thought. But thanks for joining us as we explore headlines, stories, and more impacting our world today and beyond. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. It is the best way to stay connected and help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. Until next time, keep your roots deep, your vision growing. Good food starts with great people, just like you. And remember, we are #stronger together. Be a blessing to someone today as you go out your day. Look forward to seeing you all. Yes, Jack remembered. I've got to add this in. I haven't got it typed over in. #think outside the big box store, shop local. For those that were in the Tuesday night show that came up, think outside the big box store. It's what Keith said, and then Jack added in shop local. So that's a collaborative hashtag right there. And yes, think outside the big box store, shop local. Go see guys like Jack who sell eggs. Get your eggs right there, especially if you live in the Duncan, Oklahoma area. Look for Dyer Family Farm. Jeremiah said, but buy. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, or maybe he meant bye-bye. I don't know. But bye. Anyway, folks, hey, listen, have a great day. It's good to see you all in here this morning. And anyway, y'all have a great day. Be a blessing to someone. We will be back tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, for those who are new to this, we start at 6. Tomorrow is what we call Chat Rules Friday. And basically what it boils down to is you guys in the chat get to set the topic. And, so come prepared. You got your notice. You can think of something for those who are going to be on tomorrow. And we will talk. I do have some things I can talk about that came up in my headlines early this morning that kind of triggered me off on something. But we'll chase that down if we have time. But otherwise, tomorrow, you guys in the chat have control of what we're going to talk about. So we will see you all tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. And y'all have a great, blessed day. I'm going to hand this over to Hank to take us on out of here.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.